Welcome back to Move Those Chains. I'm Jake Lazarus, and let's talk some football. This past weekend, we had two big games from both New York teams. The Giants took down the Ravens, and the Jets took down the Packers. I don't think anyone expected this start from either of these teams. The Giants are off to a start of 5-1, and the Jets 4-2. Myself personally, I was expecting both of these teams to be subpar. Up to this point, I would have expected them to be under 500. However, I am definitely wrong up to this point. But for the Giants, I am very happy to be wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong about them if I'm doubtful on this team. In the past 5 years, I haven't seen a worse football team in the league, and the Jets have been right there with them. The Jets have had some pockets of being all right, but the Giants have had the worst record in football over the last 5 years. And the Jets, yeah, they've made some big strides in roster development. Zach Wilson looks like he could be a decent quarterback. Sauce Gardner looks really, really good. And the Giants with their new head coach, Brian Daboll. Daboll looks like a real head coach who can coach an offense with subpar talent. But yeah, the question that I have is which New York team is going to finish with a better record in 2022? Up to week 6, like I said, the Giants are 5-1, the Jets are 4-2. Let's take a look at both of those teams before we actually find ourselves with an answer. So let's start with the Jets here. The Jets beat the Packers this past weekend 27-10. Aaron Rodgers with back-to-back losses lost last week in London to the Giants. So it looks like the Packers are in scramble mode. However, the Jets looked really, really good. Zach Wilson played all right, 10 of 18 for 110 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. However, this team was carried by rookie running back Breece Hall. Hall went for 20 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. That's 5.8 yards a carry. He looks really, really good. I'm a fan of Breece Hall. He's just fun to watch. He's got a really, really awesome skill set. But yeah, the passing game was definitely lacking for the Jets, so that is one area that has to improve. This defense, though, this defense is good. They can really stop any defense that can keep Aaron Rodgers at bay is, I guess, a good defense. Jets, no turnovers, though. Not that let's see. No turnovers. One turnover. But yeah, they got to continue to force errors in the passing game. I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't make many mistakes, but they got to force mistakes in the passing game. They got a lot of pressure home this past weekend. They got 4 sacks. So this defense looks really, really good. This defensive line is much improved from where it has been. Quincy Williams, 14 total tackles, which led the team. Like I said, though, Sauce Gardner looks really, really good. He had 2 pass breakups, and at the end of the game, he was wearing the cheese hat, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, let's look across town at the Giants. The Giants won 24-20 over the Ravens at home, a game in which they did not have the lead until late in the fourth quarter. The Giants kind of pulled a shocker out in MetLife. Daniel Jones, I couldn't be more of a hater the last few years, but he's got my New York Football Giants off to a 5-1 start, so it's hard to still be a hater. He went 19 of 27 for 173 yards and a pair of touchdowns. So he's looking like himself. Saquon Barkley with a shoulder problem, still a workhorse, 22 carries, 83 touches. In this passing game, Wan'Dale Robinson had his first career touchdown. Daniel Bellinger, rookie tight end, looks to keep getting better with another touchdown reception. And yeah, this defense is for real. They forced their first interception this week. Julian Love, captain, so that was awesome to see. But yeah, this defense, Wink Martindale has this defense absolutely on fire right now. They're getting pressure home. This offense and Brian Daboll has them cooking. Daniel Jones with easy, quick passes, good reads, lots and lots of checkdowns, getting the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands in space, easy completions, quick completions. And to be completely honest, this offensive line has really held up. That's been an area of struggle for the past few years for these Giants. So it's really, really awesome to see this team be able to put something together that is fun to watch. But yeah, health is definitely a concern for the Giants. If Saquon Barkley can stay on the field, I think this team can be very, very successful. However, that's something we haven't seen these past few years. So he's clearly dealing with a nagging shoulder injury. We saw that in the Packers game, and we saw him come out of last week's game against the Ravens kind of wobbling his shoulder a little bit. So we'll see if that plays any factor in the next few games. But Saquon Barkley is unreal, unreal. He's played an incredible season so far. I think he would get some comeback. He would definitely get some comeback player of the year votes should the season end today. I think that's going to be something we should keep an eye out for. As well on the other side, I think we're going to see some awards really come this way. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner, that campaign. Coach of the Year, Brian Dable. We're going to see a lot of awards being talked about with these two New York teams. But if I had to pick which New York team is going to finish with a better record, for me, maybe it's bias, call it what you will, but I have to take the Giants. I think the Giants are a better coach team, and I think that's going to play a real role the rest of this season and the road home. The Giants right now sit at 5-1 with a probably an easier road home towards down the stretch. The Giants play their next two games at Jacksonville, at Seattle, two teams that have been subpar this season. Jacksonville is a team who looks like they can come out any day and beat anyone, but I'm confident the Giants can take that one. At Seattle, they've obviously been not so good this year, and they head into their bye. If the Giants can go into their bye 7-1, I think they're feeling really, really good about themselves, and I think that put them in a really good position for the second half of their year. Coming out of their bye, they have at home two games at home against Houston and Detroit, two very winnable games, and then their biggest game of the season thus far at Dallas in Week 12. They go on a stretch of four straight division games, weeks 12, 13, 14, and 15, at Dallas, home against Washington, home against Philly, and at Washington. That's a tough stretch of games. And then at Minnesota also 5-1. And they close out the season at home against Indianapolis and then at Philadelphia. The Giants still have both games to go against Philly and both games to go against Washington. So this division race is only one that's going to continue to heat up down the stretch. So the NFC East, in basically the span of 1 year, went from being the NFC least to the NFC beast. So keep an eye out for that. So for that reason, I'm going to rock with the Giants. But that's no knock on these Jets. These Jets are shocking everyone, being 4-2 with a real statement upset win over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They travel to Denver to take on Russell Wilson and the Broncos next week, and then they go home to play New England and Buffalo. The Jets definitely have a more difficult road home. They still have to play Buffalo a couple times, the team that I still think is going to win my Super Bowl favorites this year. Obviously, any Bill Belichick coach team is always going to give you a run for your money. Bailey Zappi looks, he looked really good this past week against Cleveland, so keep an eye out for them. They also have to play Minnesota and Miami one more time. So I don't know, man. This team's they could give the Giants a run, but if I had to rock with the team right now at the end of week 6, I think I'd have to run with the Giants. And I'd love to know what y'all think. So in the comments, in the YouTube comments and Instagram comments, wherever, drop something. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure to like, subscribe to Laz Sports. And yeah, give me a thumbs up. Give me a holler what you guys think. Peace.